Welcome back, deep divers. Today we're taking a journey through the cosmos, exploring a fascinating concept from Vedic astrology, the Rohini Nakshatra. And now, even if you're not into astrology, stick with us. We've been digging into some expert lectures, and trust me, this goes way beyond horoscopes. We're talking history, mythology, and even some surprising links to modern-day events.
Yeah, it's like we're using this particular star cluster as a key to unlock a whole treasure chest of stories and interpretations. And it's amazing how much human history and belief is woven into these patterns in the sky.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is a nakshatra? I'm picturing something mystical and powerful, but I need a little grounding here.
Think of it like this. In Vedic astrology, the night sky is divided into 27 nakshatras, kind of like lunar mansions or segments of the zodiac. Each one has unique qualities and symbolism associated with it.
So where does Rohini fit into all of this?
Rohini is considered the fourth nakshatra, and it's located in the Taurus constellation. Specifically, it corresponds to the bright star Aldebaran, the eye of the bull.
Okay, so we've got bulls and stars. I'm already intrigued. What makes Rohini so special, even among all these other nakshatras?
Well, it's known as a nakshatra of growth, creation, and fertility. It's often depicted as a chariot signifying power and movement, but also as a cradle representing nurturing potential.
That's a really interesting duality. It's like it embodies both outward action and inward nurturing at the same time.
Exactly. It's that dynamic tension that makes Rohini so fascinating. And this duality plays out in all sorts of ways, both in the myths associated with Rohini and in the interpretations astrologers have given it over the centuries.
So it's not just about the position of the stars, but about the stories and meanings people have attached to them.
Precisely. And the stories surrounding Rohini are incredibly rich. For instance,
Yeah.
there's a famous mythological tale about a woman known for her unwavering devotion to her husband. Her story is often cited as an example of Rohini's themes of intense attraction and the power to overcome obstacles.
Wow, I'm getting some serious Romeo and Juliet vibes here, but on a cosmic scale, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about romantic love, it's about that driving force that compels us to create, to unite, to push boundaries.
And this energy isn't just limited to mythology, is it? The lectures we've been looking at draw some interesting connections to the real world.
Absolutely. One example that really struck me was the fact that a certain country's first sounding rocket was named after Rohini. It's as if they were consciously tapping into that energy of ascension and exploration.
That's such a cool connection. It shows how these ancient interpretations can influence even our modern scientific endeavors. But you mentioned earlier that Rohini has a dual nature, which means there must be some challenges associated with it too, right?
You're right. No, nakshatra is all sunshine and rainbows. Rohini's powerful energy can also manifest in less favorable ways, just as it can inspire great creativity and charisma. It can also lead to ego issues and conflict if not balanced. It's like that saying, it's too much of a good thing.
So it's about harnessing that creative energy, but making sure it doesn't turn destructive.
Exactly, and there are certain astrological events that are believed to amplify those challenging aspects of Rohini. Have you heard of the term Rohini Shaka?
Not ringing any bells.
It's a concept in Vedic astrology that refers to the period when Saturn transits through Rohini. It's traditionally seen as a time of potential upheaval and disaster.
Wait, seriously, they connect this to actual historical events.
Yes, astrologers have observed that major wars, natural disasters, and even economic downturns often coincide with Saturn's transit through Rohini. It's a pattern they've tracked over centuries.
Okay, now that's fascinating, albeit a bit unsettling. It suggests that Rohini's influence goes way beyond individual personalities and might even play a role in shaping global events.
It certainly raises some interesting questions about the interconnectedness of everything, and this brings us to another layer of complexity with Rohini, the theme of family karma. Remember the presiding deity of Rohini, often associated with the creator god.
Yes, you mentioned that earlier.
Well, there's a myth about him and his daughter Rohini that really highlights the potential for family drama, especially when it comes to in-law relationships.
Ooh, family drama, always a juicy topic. Fill me in.
So the story goes that Rohini was married to the moon, but her father wasn't exactly thrilled with the match. It's said that the moon favored Rohini above his other wives, who, by the way, represent the other nakshatras. And this caused a whole lot of jealousy and conflict.
So even on a cosmic level, we can't escape those classic in-law struggles.
It seems not.
Oh.
But it does offer some interesting food for thought about how these ancient stories might reflect some very human patterns and challenges that we still deal with today.
It's amazing how these myths and interpretations can be so multi-layered, offering insights into everything from personal relationships to global events. This is why I love these deep dives. There's always something new to discover, and it's never what I expect.
You said it. And we're just getting started with Rohini. There's a whole other dimension to explore, the more mystical side, if you will.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Let's talk about Krishna, one of the most revered figures in mythology. Did you know he was born under the Rohini Nakshatra?
No, I didn't. But I can already see how his life story might tie into what we've been discussing. Makes sense, right? He's known for his charisma, his creativity, his ability to inspire, all qualities that we've connected with Rohini.
Absolutely, and his life story really embodies the dual nature of this nakshatra. He's a symbol of love, devotion, and unity, echoing those themes of attraction and creation. But he also faced immense challenges, constantly battling against forces of darkness and chaos.
So it's not just about the positive aspects of Rohini, but also about how we navigate those inevitable struggles and conflicts that come with growth and creation.
Exactly. His story highlights the importance of facing those challenges head on, using your strengths to overcome adversity and emerge even stronger.
I like that it's not just no pain, no gain, but more like no conflict, no creation.
Perfect. That really captures the essence of Rohini. And it's speaking of harnessing this energy, the lecture also dives into some specific remedies or practices associated with Rohini. It's interesting how Vedic astrology offers this holistic approach to working with the energies of the nakshatras.
Okay, now when you say remedies, I'm picturing something out of a mystical potion book. What do these remedies actually entail?
Think of them more as ways to align yourself with the positive qualities of Rohini and mitigate any potential challenges. One example is the jamun fruit, also known as the jaba plum.
The jamun fruit.
Yeah.
Is there a specific connection between this fruit and Rohini?
It's considered the tree of Rohini, and it's believed to have healing properties that resonate with this nakshatra.
So it's not just a random fruit. It's chosen for its symbolic connection and its potential benefits.
Right, and there's also a practice of offering milk to a jamun tree, which is thought to invite prosperity and abundance. It's like acknowledging the energy of Rohini and saying, hey, I'm working with you here.
I love that. It sounds like these remedies are more about intention and connection than any magical quick fix.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with the energy of the nakshatra through conscious action. Another remedy the lecture highlights is the significance of flowers, particularly the blue lotus.
Oh, the blue lotus, such a beautiful and mystical flower. I remember seeing them in ancient art and always feeling drawn to their symbolism.
They're pretty special in Vedic astrology. The blue lotus is associated with Venus, which rules the Taurus sign where Rohini resides.
So again, it's about connecting with the planetary energies that influence Rohini.
Yes, and there's a belief that offering blue lotuses to goddesses is especially beneficial for those influenced by Rohini.
Which makes sense given that Rohini is also associated with feminine energy.
Precisely. It's like weaving a tapestry of connections, stars, planets, myths, and even practical remedies, all coming together to create a deeper understanding of this nakshatra.
It's mind-boggling how much depth there is to this system. I have to admit, I came into this deep dive a bit skeptical, but I'm finding myself genuinely intrigued by these connections and interpretations.
That's the beauty of it. Vedic astrology isn't just about predicting the future, it's about understanding the interconnectedness of everything and finding our place within that grand cosmic dance.
Okay, but I have to ask, for those of us who aren't into astrology, what's the takeaway here? Is there something we can glean from all this, even if we don't necessarily subscribe to the whole system?
Absolutely. Rohini's themes are universal. We all experience those cycles of growth, creation, and the inevitable challenges that come with them, regardless of whether we believe in the stars or not.
So it's like Rohini offers a metaphorical lens through which we can view our own journeys.
Exactly, and even if you don't follow Vedic astrology, the stories and myths associated with Rohini, like that tale of unwavering devotion, can offer profound insights into the human experience. They speak to the power of love, perseverance, and the importance of facing our challenges with courage and resilience.
That's a great point. These stories, even though they're ancient, still resonate with us on a deep level. It's like they're tapping into something fundamental about what it means to be human.
And that's why exploring these concepts, even with a healthy dose of skepticism, can be so enriching. It opens up new ways of seeing ourselves and the world, inviting us to connect with something larger than ourselves.
So it's not about blindly believing, but about expanding our perspectives and embracing the wisdom these traditions offer. Speaking of expanding perspectives, you mentioned earlier that there's a fascinating celestial phenomenon specifically linked to Rohini. What was that again?
Yes. Lunar occultations. It's when the moon passes in front of Rohini, blocking it from our view temporarily.
Okay, and what makes this special? Does the moon do this with other stars too?
It does, but what's interesting is that the moon is said to be particularly fond of Rohini, and this fondness is reflected in the frequency of these lunar occultations. It happens more often with Rohini than with other stars.
It's like a cosmic dance between the moon and this special star. It
Mm.
seems like Rohini is more than just a random star cluster.
Yeah.
It's woven into mythology, history, and even these celestial events.
And we're still not done. There's one more fascinating aspect of Rohini that I think will resonate with anyone, regardless of their astrological beliefs.
I'm hooked. Tell me more. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in our Rohini deep dive. We've talked about its symbolism, its influence on individuals, and potentially even global events.
Yeah.
We even got into some of the remedies or practices associated with it.
Yeah, it's amazing how much is packed into this one little segment of the night sky. It really shows how these ancient systems of knowledge, like Vedic astrology, were trying to make sense of the whole human experience, from our inner world to the workings of the cosmos.
Exactly. And what I find so cool is that even if you don't believe in astrology in the strict sense, you can still find so much to ponder in these concepts, like
Mm.
that idea of Rohini representing this duality in human nature, the drive to create and the need to nurture that just resonates so deeply no matter what your background is.
It's true, and I think that's what makes exploring these traditions so valuable, even for a modern audience. It's not about accepting everything as literal truth, but rather about expanding our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's like those myths and symbols are tapping into some universal truths that are still relevant today. Like, who hasn't felt that inner tug of war between wanting to charge ahead and conquer the world versus needing to step back and recharge? It's that Rohini chariot and cradle dance playing out in our everyday lives.
I love that analogy, and it brings us back to that question we posed earlier. If Rohini is all about this interplay of growth and creation, how might we be unconsciously influenced by its energy?
Where do we see those patterns playing out, not just on an individual level, but also in the broader world?
Think about it. Where do we see that drive for expansion and innovation, but maybe at the expense of sustainability or compassion? Where do we see the need for nurturing and connection, but maybe struggling to find that balance with ambition and progress?
Whoa, those are some huge questions. And I'm realizing that Rohini is almost like a lens for examining these larger societal issues.
Exactly. It can help us understand the dynamics at play, not just in our personal lives, but in the collective human story. And ultimately, that's what I find so empowering about exploring these ancient systems of knowledge. They give us tools for understanding not just the what, but also the why of the world around us.
So it's not just about passively observing these patterns, but about consciously engaging with them and asking ourselves, how can we use this knowledge to create a more balanced and harmonious existence, both individually and collectively?
Precisely. And that, I think, is the real gift of Rohini. It's an invitation to step into our creative power, to embrace our full potential, and to navigate the challenges with awareness and intention.
I love that it's like a Rohini's whispering to us saying, hey, you have the power to shape your own destiny, both personally
Oh,
and as part of the bigger picture.
well said. And with that empowering thought, I think we can wrap up our Rohini deep dive.
I agree. This has been such an insightful exploration. Who knew that a seemingly obscure astrological concept could lead to such profound reflections?
It just goes to show that there's always more to learn, always more to discover.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore these fascinating traditions further. You might be surprised at what insights you uncover.
And until next time, keep looking up and keep diving deep.